This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Roland Wessel, the CEO of Synergia Energy. Thank you very much for joining us, Roland. How are you?
Very good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much for your time. Of course, the first time we're speaking here on Stockbox. So we can just perhaps, first of all, start off by having a little bit of a high-level overview, if you can, the elevator pitch, so to speak, of the company.
Sure. We have essentially two strings to our bow. The first one is a gas field development in India. That's a 205 BCF P50 reserve gas field onshore Gujarat state. And secondly, we have CCS interests in both the UK and in India as well.
Okay, and if you were to sort of highlight perhaps some of the main achievements from last year, what would they be?
Yeah, last year was a big year for the company. We had a very pivotal episode in India because we signed a joint venture with a company called Sealand Exploration. And that essentially was a farm out of our Cambay production sharing contract, the PSC, the Cambay field in India. It's a 50-50 JV, and it gives us a path to a full field development. So basically the JV gives us a free carry for a $20 million work program, which is a combination of workovers of legacy wells and the drilling of two new vertical wells and one horizontal well.
Okay.
So it gives us a path to the full field development, and we anticipate a big uptick in production from the field this year.
Okay, so the field is producing now on a small scale?
The field has been producing. We started or restarted production in 2022, and we've been working over a couple of wells already. Two wells were worked over towards the end of last year. One of those wells resulted in a good uptick in gas production from C70, and we're currently commingling that production with our existing two legacy gas wells. So yes, we're producing. We're also producing about 29-30 barrels a day of oil, and this is as a result of the workover going into legacy wells and taking the legacy oil production from those wells.
Okay. On the workover side then, so that's 2 out of 6 that you want to work over?
Yes, indeed. So there's a bit of a pause while we organize a new workover rig. It's been contracted for March. It's a higher capacity workover rig, and we plan to do more workovers in Q1, Q2 with that rig, including the horizontal gas well that we've been producing since 2022.
Okay, and then you said you wanted to get drilling a couple of new wells as well. What would that look like? How close are you to be able to do that?
Well, those wells we plan to drill starting second quarter of next year. Initially, two vertical wells, and then followed by a horizontal well. In the existing Eocene gas reservoir. And as a result of that drilling campaign, we plan to have significantly increased production during the second half of next year.
Right, okay. I'm just thinking down at the current sort of production rate. What was the BCF you were talking about?
Okay, well, the BCF is the reserves, okay? So the reserves that we have are about 205 BCF. That's billion cubic feet of gas. And we sell that gas to the local grid at the moment for around $8 a thousand cubic feet. So you can do the maths as to what those reserves are worth to us.
Okay. And in terms of sort of current production, are you able to talk about the numbers at the moment? I know you said sort of barrels of oil would be an oil in gas terms. Have you got a number there that investors can think about?
Well, the gas production right now has a potential of about 200,000 scuffs a day, so standard cubic feet per day.
Okay.
We're not doing that right now because we're just producing from C77 while we tie in the C70 well, the well that we worked over in December. So that new gas well, C70, tested at just under 200,000 scuffs alone. So that's the kind of range that we're looking at the moment.
Okay. And then would you have a target in mind that you'd want to get to in terms of a resource and indeed sort of production per day?
Without wanting to make a rod for my back, I mean, these wells are subject to geology, but we anticipate the horizontal well to produce up to 4 million scuffs a day. And a vertical gas well can produce about 2 million scuffs a day. It's something that we hope to get in the sort of 4 to 6 million scuffs a day range towards the end of next year.
Right, okay, 4 to 6 million, okay. Towards the end of next year, so the end of 2026?
Excuse me, towards the end of this year.
Yeah, okay, yeah, towards the end of 2025.
2025.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, could we contextualize that? Is that something that investors could do sort of calculations on where you're talking 4 to 6 million scuffs per day?
Yeah, 1 million scuffs a day times $8 per 1,000 scuffs. Do the maths.
Right. Okay.
I'm not allowed to put out financial forecasts, but that gives you a range as to what our expectations are.
Indeed. No, it's good to get a range, and I say good to get sort of the targets as well. Okay, so that's good to hear. So and in terms of funding these activities and the workovers and of course the other 2 wells that you want to drill, how are you funded there with your 50-50 joint venture partner?
Well, the JV provides a $20 million work program free carry. So CLAN are going to pay for that $20 million program, and that's part of the JV terms.
Okay.
In addition,
and you mentioned
some production bonuses as well, up to $9.5 million of production bonuses based on hitting certain production targets.
Okay. And you mentioned oil as well. So, I mean, how does that come into play? Is that more a little bit of a side credit, or could there be some significant cash generated from the oil?
Well, the oil comes from legacy wells. So those wells have been worked over by CLAN, and right now we're doing about 30 barrels a day of oil production. So that's good for the cash flow. But our primary focus is the Eocene gas reservoir.
Okay. And as well in India, you've got the CCS element as well, the TCS projects. That's about carbon sort of capture and storage, isn't it? So what's the stage of this project?
Well, it's at a very early stage, but we presented the scheme to the regulator, the Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, and we've formed a consortium, including the Institute of Technology in Bombay, the British Geological Survey, and what we're proposing to the DGH and to the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas is a pilot scheme to prove up the storage potential of a very thick formation called the Olpad Formation, which underlies the producing reservoirs in the Cambay PSC. And we believe, since that Olpad Formation extends way beyond our license, that this could be a major CCS resource for India. And we're hoping that the pilot scheme will be a flagship project, if you like, a pioneering CCS project for India. So it's early days yet, but it's looking quite good.
Okay, so you're in the sort of that pilot stage discussion. When are you looking to perhaps conclude those discussions and indeed perhaps start constructing a pilot plant?
Well, we would hope that we could actively, the pilot scheme involves drilling into a suspended well, a legacy well, and drilling that well down to the Olpad Formation. And if you like, proving up the geological characteristics of the Olpad Formation and potentially doing some injection testing to see what kind of injection rates that we can achieve. And we'd like to think that we could start that drilling sometime next year, 2026.
Right. Okay. Good. And so and you've got a similar project in the UK as well. So that's Medway Hub as well. So is this similar to what's going on in India?
Well, the Indian project is very different to the Medway Hub project. In India, we're onshore. The Cambay PSC is surrounded by large power stations, so there's a lot of CO2 emissions in the area. And because it's onshore, things are much simpler. But it's at an early stage because the regulatory framework has not been developed yet in India for CCS. In the UK, we're into the second year of a 5-year program, a development program, which is determined by the NSTA, the regulator here in the UK. It's a very, very different project because the storage target is called the Camelot field, and it's in the southern North Sea offshore. And we are a marine solution, so we don't have any pipelines, fixed pipelines. We basically have what we call a FISO, which is a floating injection storage and offloading vessel, which is parked over the storage reservoir. And the CO2 cargoes are transported by CO2 tanker and offloaded on the FISO. Okay. Our target customers are emitting customers in the southeast of England, the Isle of Grain, but also continental European customers based on carbon hubs in Belgium, Zeebrugge, Rotterdam in the Netherlands, Wilhelmshaven in Germany, Le Havre in France, for example. So we're a very unique project.
And this is, you say, you're in year 2 of a 5-year sort of process here to get this effectively fully up and running.
Yeah, we have a very well described work program according to NSTA guidelines, and after the assess phase, which will take about 4.5 years, we will be allowed to apply for a storage permit. So at that stage, we will apply for FID, final investment decision, as well on the project.
Okay. So is it sort of fair to say then that the carbon side, the CCS side of Synergia here, those two projects, India and of course the UK, they're more the sort of longer term projects here, and the short term focus really where the money is with the producing assets in India? Yeah,
that's a very good summary.
Okay, so just thinking about what's to come then, you've said you wanted to ideally get to, I think it was 4 to 6 million scuffs per day by the end of this year. But what does the first kind of quarter look like? I mean, I know you've said you're going to be completing the workover programs and then doing some drilling, but if you could perhaps sort of set out a few key milestones that you're looking out for that indeed investors can sort of grasp onto for the next 3 months here.
Sure. Well, the first quarter, we're going to hopefully be doing some additional workovers. So we're looking to get additional production from legacy wells. We're also going to work over the C77 well, which is a horizontal gas well that is currently producing, change out the production string so that the pump works better and we get better gas flows. And then Q2, we'll start gearing up for the drilling program.
Okay. So Q1's all about workovers, getting further or increasing the volume coming out of the ground, and then you're going to get into drilling. So that's the sort of thing we can be hoping to follow up with you on, Roland, is it?
That's right. I mean, the drilling program is really the significant increase in production.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Roland Wessel, the CEO of Synergia Energy. Looking forward to following those activities in Q1.
And thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.